10 films I love, the 1940s. This is a film that is among the most controversial and among the most divisive. Some love it, some don't see the hype about it at all. And some critics have claimed it to be the greatest film of all time. It is Citizen Kane, directed by, and starring Orson Welles. Very talented young man. I think he was 24, around there, when he made this movie. And it's really hard to believe that he wrote it, starred in it, and directed it. I mean, he does all three of those things so well. I think this did win Best Screenplay. That's the only award it won, though. It did not win Best Picture or Best Director. And it didn't do very well at the box office. I think it flopped, actually. So for a while there, it was kind of just forgotten. Orson Welles went on to make other movies, and some of them did better than Citizen Kane did at the box office. Over the course of maybe 20 years, it started becoming heralded as, one of the greats and even the greatest. But while it almost wasn't even filmed at all, because it's based loosely on a newspaper tycoon named William Randolph Hearst. And Hearst acknowledged that, and he was very upset, and he thought the movie was not just loosely based on him, but totally based on him, and he thought it really depicted him in a bad light. So he tried to get the movie banned, but thankfully that didn't happen. The question a lot of people ask is, why is this so great? Why is this movie heralded as the greatest of all time? A lot of it has to do with the technical stuff. This definitely was not the first movie to use facial close-ups. As I mentioned 2 videos ago, Passion of Joan of Arc from 1928 used a lot of them. But it used things like that in ways that hadn't been utilized as much before. And when you watch the film, you'll notice there are a lot of bottom-up shots. I used to know what the technical word for that was back when I took a film class in college, but I forgot. Rather than top-down. Most films before this either were filmed like from the ceiling down to the person, or head-on, like straight on, as if it's a person holding a camera right in front of them. But a lot of these shots will be shot from the floor. And they usually didn't do that because usually they had microphones on the ceiling. So if you shot that way, you would see the microphones. But they rearranged microphones and recorded the audio in different ways in this film. So that's one of the things, is the technical thing. What I really like about it is this, one of many things I like about it, as well as the technical stuff, is the story. Well, I mentioned the screenplay. I mean, it's got some great dialogue. That's definitely worth noting. Some very memorable dialogue. Quotes that are still quoted to this day. What did you want to be? Everything you hate, stuff like that. But the story, totally goes against the American dream. And we actually talked about this in my film class in college, I remember. It totally goes against the American dream that money automatically equates to happiness. And it totally trashes that notion, that mindset. I don't want to say too much about why and spoil the film. So I would say some people say, the story doesn't have much weight to it. I would definitely argue against that. It's not just a movie that's great for its technical innovations. It's a movie that's just great in and of itself, I think. And I didn't even mention the acting. We're going on 5 minutes, so I'll wrap it up here. But the acting's really good. Among Orson himself and Agnes Moorehead, whom a lot of people know more for in Bewitched. She played the mother-in-law. Anyway, 1940s, Citizen Kane.